Hola, niños y niñas. Before I get into it, I want to mention that I am a huge Pokemon fan. I grew up watching the Pokemon TV show Saturday mornings with my brother. I remember getting my first Pokemon game, Pokemon Sapphire, for the Game Boy Advance and absolutely loving it. So much so that I got at least one version of every main series Pokemon game that came out after, with the exception of X and Y, and Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. I bought a Nintendo Switch a year before Sword and Shield released just so I could play Shield the day it came out. I was pumped when they released the first trailer in February 2019, and I picked my starter Groki, as I always did, before I knew its final evolution, and it turned out to have an awesome final evolution. All that's to say is that I love Pokemon, and up until recently, I thought Pokemon loved me. But it turns out Nintendo and Game Freak were ready to lie, milk, and abuse my love for the series. I'm going to go over three main points that highlight this abuse: graphical deficiency, no national dex, and DLC. A lot of these issues have been talked to death on YouTube, but they haven't really been talked about in the context of this game's price. As a CPA, I think I'm pretty well suited to talk about this. Pokemon Sword and Shield was a game that flirted with greatness from the onset. The first core series game to be released on a non-handheld console, the Nintendo Switch. Prior to Sword and Shield's release, the Nintendo Switch had absolutely rejuvenated veteran Nintendo IPs like Zelda with Breath of the Wild and Mario with Mario Odyssey. Expectations were high. Surely Nintendo and Game Freak would do the same for Pokemon. Why wouldn't they? As of 2018, Pokemon is the world's highest grossing media franchise, amassing an estimated $92 billion since 1996, and absolutely dwarfing Mario, which has made $38 billion in its lifetime, and other popular franchises like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which has made $35 billion. Yeah, Pokemon is beating the freaking Avengers. They had the monetary resources. They had a system much more powerful than any handheld the game had been released on before. Surely they'd push it to its limits to craft a Pokemon game unlike any we've ever seen. Surely they'd reward the fans that helped Pokemon amass such wealth with something amazing. And with a price tag of $60 compared to the standard $40 for previous mainline games in the series, they pretty much had to. It would not be crazy to think that we would be getting something groundbreaking to justify the higher price tag and the more powerful system. Unfortunately, that's not what we got. Graphically, it's embarrassing. In an interview with US Gamer after E3 2019, Game Freak director Shigeru Omori and Game Freak producer Junichi Masuda, Omori touted how, with Sword and Shield, they were really taking advantage of the hardware even more compared to the Let's Go games. Omori went on to say, one of the things we really wanted to challenge ourselves with this time is since we have much higher resolution and we can put them on the big screen, we could finally really show the difference in size between Pokemon. Well, you guys didn't really nail it with high resolution graphics. Environmentally, the game is subpar compared to other games released on the Switch. Let's compare the detail in New Donk City from Mario Odyssey to the detail in the largest city in Sword and Shield. Let's compare a tree from Sword and Shield to a tree from Zelda Breath of the Wild. How about the animations? Not significantly better than what we've gotten in the past. Now, I'm by no means a graphical purist, but Sword and Shield is not a technical showcase by any means. Additionally, the pop-in issue is devastating for immersion. Overworld Pokemon, NPCs, and textures have an embarrassingly short draw distance, so characters will materialize way too late as you approach them in the game. Omori also mentioned finally being able to show the difference in size between Pokemon. Wailord's like, what, 47 feet tall and weighs 877 pounds. Yeah, that looks right. I mean, they tried, right? I can't help but feel lied to in terms of what was promised graphically and what we got. With all the resources Pokemon should have as the highest grossing media franchise of all time, we should have gotten something better than this, especially since Breath of the Wild and Odyssey proved that the Switch was capable of amazing visuals 2 years earlier. That being said, I don't live and die by graphics. This isn't an end-all, be-all issue for me, but I can understand why fans would be upset by the graphics of what should have been a groundbreaking Pokemon game. The second issue I have with this game is pretty unforgivable. It was announced June 2019 that Sword and Shield would be the first mainline Pokemon game where you would not be able to catch every Pokemon. the Gotta Catch 'em All series would not allow you to do just that. Masada said in an interview with US Gamer, "We already have well over 800 Pokemon species, and there's going to be more added in these games. And now that they're on the Nintendo Switch, we're creating it with much higher fidelity with higher quality animations." Any way I look at that excuse, it doesn't make sense. Masada claimed the reason every Pokemon could not be included is because it would be impossible to have both every Pokemon and high quality graphics and animations. As we saw with the images earlier, high quality graphics clearly weren't the priority. Again, Pokemon is the highest grossing media franchise of all time. They aren't exactly strapped for cash. If they wanted to make all Pokemon available at launch, they could have hired more animators to help design character models. They could have also delayed the game to give the team more time to make every Pokemon available in game, a move that I think most gamers and fans of the series would respect. Instead, what we got was a lie. I know some of you might think that we have never been able to catch every Pokemon directly in game. That's true, but we have always been able to transfer every Pokemon in existence at the time to the game. Some of you might also think there simply is not enough memory space to store the animations and unique cries of each Pokemon. To that, I say every Pokemon was available in the far cheaper Sun and Moon, which was on the far less powerful 3DS compared to the Switch. If Game Freak and Nintendo wanted to make every Pokemon available in game, they could have. Instead, they lied to us in the name of superior graphics, which clearly were not what we got. Another lie. Immediately after that interview, I decided not to buy Sword and Shield at launch. I felt $60 was too much for a Pokemon game without all the Pokemon. I thought that, like most mainline Pokemon games in the past, they would release a superior third version in the future with a better storyline, better post-game content, improved graphics, and all Pokemon available. That, to me, would be worth $60. Instead, Nintendo and Game Freak betrayed me again by releasing a $30 expansion pass to supplement their already $60 game. The DLC would primarily do two things: add additional post-game content and add additional Pokemon. Let's talk about post-game content. It's been my experience that the post-game and mainline Pokemon games have been on a downward trend in quality since the Gold and Silver remakes, Heart Gold and Soul Silver. The post-game content in this game was gold standard. You could visit the entirety of the Kanto region at the end of Gold and Silver and battle 8 new gym leaders. You could even take on the Battle Frontier Challenge. Their next games, Black and White, allowed you to visit a substantially new area in the map in the post-game. And, although Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire did not include the Battle Frontier in the remake, it did have a brand new Delta episode as post-game content that let you ride Mega Rayquaza into space and catch the Deoxys. On the other hand, Sun and Moon gave you repetitive looker missions and little in terms of new areas to discover for an underwhelming post-game. While I have not played Sword and Shield myself, I've read that the post-game is abysmal without new areas to explore and a weak storyline. But fear not, Nintendo will sell you what's been included for free in cheaper Pokemon games for only $30. The second feature this DLC will have is adding Pokemon from past regions that were thought scrapped in order to pave the way for high quality graphics. The expansion would also include some brand new Galar Pokemon and Galar forms of old Pokemon. Remember when Masada said it would be too difficult to make every Pokemon available? Turns out that was not true. If you shell out another $30, they'll slave away to add what is usually a standard in Pokemon games and mask it as brand new content. Now I know what some of you are thinking. The $30 DLC is better than having to buy another version entirely, right? Not really. Y'all wanted math, right? That's why you came to my channel, right? Don't worry, I got you. Let's compare. Sun and Moon, the last core Pokemon game, cost $40 at release. To buy Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, you would have to pay another $40 for a grand total of $80. If you wanted to get the full Sword and Shield experience, you would have to pay $60 for the base game and $30 for the DLC. It's now $10 more expensive to get the quote-unquote full experience, which doesn't include every Pokemon. Now maybe paying $10 more is not a big deal to you, but if you're like me or most of my friends who play the game, you only get one version of the game, whether that be one of the two original releases or the third expanded version. In other words, you only paid $40 in the past to, at the very least, have all the Pokemon available to you and a mostly complete experience with the original versions, or you waited a year and got the expanded version for $40. Now, you don't really have a choice. You can buy the woefully incomplete Sword and Shield for $60, which is $20 more than you would have paid in the past for subpar graphics and no national decks. Or you could pay $90 for the complete experience, which is $50 more than you would have paid in the past for a similar experience, and that doesn't even include the national dex. This isn't even including the costs you would have to pay to transfer your Pokemon to Sword and Shield. In order to transfer Pokemon from the 3DS, DS, and Game Boy games, you would need a Pokemon Bank subscription, which costs $5 for an annual subscription. To be fair, you need a Pokemon Bank to transfer from the DS and Game Boy games to Sun and Moon, so let's add that here too. Then, in order to transfer Pokemon from Pokemon Bank, the Let's Go games, and Pokemon Go, you would have to pay an additional $16 annually for Pokemon Home, which would allow you to transfer and access the global trade system. Remember when it was free to transfer Pokemon and free to access the global trade system? I do. I'm old and a longtime fan. But that free stuff, it's a thing of the past. Now it's another $21 to get what was once free to do. At best, to get an experience similar to what you got with Sun and Moon, you'll have to pay an extra $26. At worst, you'll have to pay an extra $66. Now look, I'd love a game to look good, but it's not the end of the world if there are mediocre graphics. But I would ask you, should subpar graphics be how loyal fans of the highest grossing media franchise of all time be rewarded? Another question. Should we the fans be rewarded for loving this brand by having our favorite Pokemon held at ransom behind a potential $66 paywall for DLC and home just to have them in the newest iteration of the game? I'd also ask you, should we the fans be blatantly lied to when they tell us they can't do things like have Pokemon available in the game because they don't have the time or resources to do that and ensure quality graphics and animations, even though they're releasing it on the most powerful system a Pokemon game has been released on, and they literally have the most money of any media franchise? My heart breaks, man. I would gladly pay $60 for a groundbreaking Pokemon experience. I crave that, but this isn't it. Instead, I and you have our love for the series repaid with lies and wallet gouging for the complete experience. That's not right. As a fan, I can't condone it. As a guy with a bachelor's degree in business, 3 years working in the business industry, and a certified public accounting license, I see all too well where this is going. Nintendo and Game Freak are testing the waters. They want to see if they can get away with giving us less while taking more. If they continue to get away with this, $100 plus Pokemon games will be the standard. If you love Pokemon like I do and don't want this to be the new normal, don't buy Sword and Shield. The only way you can get companies to change is to hurt their sales and hurt their bottom line. Protest with your wallet. Made it to the end, huh? Fired up? Cool. Never blindly take the word of anyone who can talk into a mic and throw pictures on screens. I've included all of my sources in the video description below, so, fact check me. I'm also happy to debate a little in the comments, so if you disagree, leave a comment below, and I'll probably hit you up. If you like what you've seen here, please leave a like and, God forbid, subscribe. This has been 15 Minutes of Game. Thanks for watching.